I will admit that as I get older, I can sense myself getting more cynical and more jaded by so many things. And maybe it's one of those things that as I get older, I get more easily angered and frustrated by the things that I see on a day in, day out basis. I get all of that and I don't deny it at all. But there are those certain things that just really get under my skin, just really aggravate the ever loving piss out of me, and I don't really apologize for it because I feel like I should be pissed off about it, and I frankly feel like all of you should be pissed off about it as well. There's some dumb shit, frankly, that I hear from professional wrestling fans. There's just no other way to sugarcoat it. And there's also some even more idiotic shit that I hear from people inside of the professional wrestling business. Even more idiotic than the so-called marks that aren't in the business, which poses the question, who are the real marks? But that's a topic for another video. Of all the dumb shit that I hear when it comes to professional wrestling, both from fans and especially, most notoriously, from people inside of the business, is that you shouldn't get all upset. You shouldn't get all jaded and cynical about it and criticize it because you have to wait to see how the story plays out. Well, excuse the ever-loving hell out of me, but over the past few years, when it comes to professional wrestling, whether it's WWE or TNA, it does not matter. Why the hell should I wait until the story plays out? It is a crying shame how little good storytelling really matters in professional wrestling today. Above all else, professional wrestling is a morality play. It is about telling a story. And when I see the gross negligence that comes from both WWE and TNA in their storytelling, it really frustrates the hell out of me and damn near makes me sick to my stomach. Figuratively, literally, whatever. I mean, it's bad. I don't even see how fans of professional wrestling could sit there and try and tell you that type of crap. Well, you got to wait for the story to play out. Why? And even more ridiculous, the people that should know, the so-called experts, the people in the professional wrestling business, when they sit there and try and put this positive spin on everything and say, you got to wait for the story to play out. Why? Because based off of recent history from both WWE and TNA, we already know how the story is going to play out. And the ultimate result is going to be suck. Period. I've got some specific examples that point to just this. Let's start off with 2010 and let's look at the Nexus. They sit there, they bring in these 8 guys, and they're going to make a big deal out of them. They're going to be the big storyline for 2010. So instantly, after they debut on that Viewer's Choice Raw, Daniel Bryan gets fired, you're down to 7. And then in like no time at all, they go from being an invading force to coming from backstage down the ramp. They've got their own freaking merch. You have them lose at SummerSlam to Team WWE in that 7-man tag. Do I need to continue? No, I really don't. The WWE took this really nice novel concept and made a complete abomination and abortion of a storyline out of it. Tied into that, of course, when you think of abortions and abominations of storylines in recent WWE history, you think of John Felix Anthony Cena. Remember when he had to join the Nexus and how lame that was? Remember when John Cena got fired from the WWE, and then he never missed a show, and he was still showing up in his ring gear, and you remember how crappy that went? And what ended up happening there? The Nexus got buried, just like they got buried after the first couple of weeks, all throughout this entire damn storyline. Let's not even talk about the fact that you had your heel world champion, your big monster Sheamus, running like a scared bitch from the Nexus to go find help from his supposed opponent, John Cena. How ridiculous was that? Look at Immortal. I don't even need to go there. 10, 10, 10. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. Now that we saw what happened, as soon as we saw what happened even, we were sitting there saying, I wish they were going. They're going. They're going. Can they go? Can they go? It was horrible. It became this big cluster fucking schmaz of every 40, 50, and 60-year-old left in TNA trying to get themselves damn over and try to hog all the spotlight one final time. I mean, you've got fucking Hogan and Bischoff and Jarrett and goddamn Bully Ray and oh, Jiminy Christ. I could keep going on and on and on. You throw Fortune freaking in there. You got Ric Flair in there. Oh, fuck. Remember how terrible Immortal was? And how much it killed the interest for a lot of people in TNA? Oh, but they weren't done yet. When you look at the WWE 2011, you thought 2010 was bad with all the crap they were doing trying to play it safe to help Linda win an impossible Senate campaign in Connecticut. 2011, we got two doozies. You got Randy Orton versus Christian. Remember how upset all of us were when Christian lost the title to Randy Orton after winning it 2 days before against ADR? 2 days later. And then you got Edge, and you got all these other people in the business sitting there telling you, well, you got to wait for the story to play out to see whether or not you like it. And then you could judge it. So that way, hopefully, by then, you've forgotten how much of drizzling shit it is. You got bored with it, and you don't give a shit for it. No. The reason everybody sat there and pooned it from the beginning is because they knew they were going to still poon it in the middle, and they were going to poon it at the end because they knew what it was going to be about. It was going to be about making Christian look like a dumbass and making Orton look like God. And that's exactly what they did. But again, I'm supposed to let the story play out. You had freaking Christian, after all these years, finally wins a world title in WWE to drop it the same fucking week to, of all people, Randall Keith Orton. Oh, good Christ. So that way we have an excuse to turn Christian heel, and we got to keep Randy Orton face even though that's not working. Ah, fuck off. Oh, but it got better in 2011. Remember the summer of Punk? Here he is. Everybody thinks this is a shoot, even though it's totally a work. Punk's going to win the belt at Money in the Bank. He's going to leave. And when he has what you would think in theory would be all of this leverage and all of these things going in his favor, he comes back 8 days later. And then at SummerSlam, after he beats Cena, Kevin Nash gets him. Fucking ADR cashes in his Money in the Bank, wins the belt from Punk, and then Punk goes on to lose like the next 3 damn pay-per-views in a row. Did I really need to see how that story played out? No. As soon as they brought CM Punk back 8 days later, you knew it was going to be trash. And then you involved Triple H in it, you really knew it was going to be trash. Look at TNA, the Aces and Eights. Oh, God. I'm not even going to talk about it. You saw how long that story went. And you saw how bad and dumb dick that storyline truly became. That it's not even worth talking about anymore. Look at CM Punk's heel turn in July of 2012 on the 1000th episode of Raw. You're taking a guy that is over huge with the audience. The fans love him. They want to cheer him. So you try to go against the grain and force them to boo him, which means they resent you and they will cheer him even more. And he's sitting there going for freaking respect. And then he's sitting there acting like a punk little cowardly typical WWE chicken shit heel. It just made no damn sense to do that with this character, and it made no damn sense to turn him heel, and it ended up not working. Because again, if your faces are getting booed by half the audience, they're not good heroes, they're villains. If your villain, your heel, is getting cheered by more than half of your audience consistently everywhere you go, then he is no longer a good villain, he is a hero. Dumb, stupid. Oh, TNA's got another one. How about AJ Styles, the Lone Wolf? Something that had so much potential and so much promise. And they really devoted an entire year to this. And you get to Bow for Glory 2013 and you're like, by God, this is awesome. They're going to get back to being TNA. But then they go through the whole thing of AJ doesn't have a contract. And he's going to walk out and leave with the title, and you're assuming, oh, they can't really be stupid enough to go into this angle and not actually have him signed to a contract, are they? I apologize to anybody that I ever said that this wasn't a shoot, because apparently it was, because apparently, for some damn reason, I underestimated just how ridiculously idiotic the brain trust of TNA Impact Wrestling truly is. You're going to enter into this big-time storyline that you've devoted a year to, and nowhere along the way, at any point in time, did you decide ultimately it was a good idea to pony up the dough and keep fucking AJ Styles. How ridiculous, and look how this whole storyline finished off. Just Ridiculous. And you go to WWE. Remember Ryback, even with the Goldberg chants. Once people got past that, Ryback, feed me more. He was getting over. He was getting over big. He was getting over in a big way to the point where you could actually justify that maybe it was time to go with him as no worse than the number 2 babyface in your company, maybe the number 1 babyface in your company for a small period of time, and maybe actually, God forbid, make him the WWE champion. But instead, you have him lose at WrestleMania, and then he turns heel after WrestleMania, so that way he could be seen as jobber bitch, and now you see what's happened to Ryback. Did I really need to see how the story was going to play out based off of the WWE's history? Once they decided to turn Ryback heel, I came on here and told everybody it was fucking stupid, there was no purpose to it, there was no point to it, and all they were going to do was kill what they had in the babyface Ryback character, and ta-da! That's exactly what the fuck they did. Oh, but there's so much more. Big Show versus the Authority. Not only did it seem ridiculous to go there with the Big Show's broke and has no money storyline when you had done that a few years before with Shawn Michaels and JBL, back when a lot of people were losing their asses, and they could really get into that even though it might have seemed a little over the top and a little ridiculous. Now you don't have that same economic backdrop in late 2013, but you're going there anyways. Big Show, apparently, after almost 20 years in the business and a lot of main events and a lot of big spots, he's broke. It'd be one thing if he sat there and said that he was broke because he had to buy all of his own food, but you didn't go there. And then you have him being held hostage by the McMahons, by Triple H, and then he gets fired, and then he comes back, and then they just completely forgot about the fucking storyline. All the while, you would have thought that the primary emphasis and focus should have been on Daniel Bryan and the Authority. But of course, after he goes into that little run of a program with Randy Orton, they decide to put him in a feud with the fucking Wyatts because the Wyatts are involved with the Authority. How? Deep down inside, I don't give a damn if you love Daniel Bryan, and I don't give a damn if you love Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. You cannot sit there and tell me with a straight face that tying into that authority storyline, that it made any damn sense for Daniel Bryan to be feuding with the freaking Wyatts. If you said he entered a 2 or 3 month program with the Shield, that would make tons of logical sense. Perhaps too much, dare I say. But no, not only is he going to feud with the Wyatts, they actually, after having him repeatedly get beat down and repeatedly doing the same damn thing week after week, he's going to join the Wyatt family, which lasts all of 2 fucking weeks. And no, that wasn't good. That was fucking stupid. Somebody sat there and told me, well, can't you put him in the damn match because this is all one big story. I can't believe you can't see it. You want to know why I couldn't see it? Because it didn't exist. This is a clear-cut example of people thinking things to a much bigger level and detail than the WWE is. The WWE has forgotten about it, and at the very least has assumed that you've already forgotten about it because it happened a couple of weeks ago. So instead of actually trying to create a big moment at a pay-per-view, we're actually exploring some different avenues with Daniel Bryan's character. No, we're going to have him fucking turn on the Wyatts 2 weeks later, and then he just goes on to lose the match to Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble anyways. And now he's back to feuding with the Authority. Oh, boy. And then you look at TNA, and you see a storyline that's just beginning. MVP being the new investor. I know Fool Killer, I believe, talked about the fact of how ridiculous it was, I think, to sit there and have an investor in a privately held company. Now, technically, you could sit there and say, well, you could have somebody invest money into it and be a partial owner, and that is true, even with a privately held company. But he's sitting there talking about he made a match because the board wanted him to. What board? Why would a privately held company have a board of directors? Now, that makes absolutely no sense. And when it's all said and done, this is just yet another fucking power struggle storyline in TNA. How many of these damn things have we seen over the years? We just got done with one with Hulk Hogan and Dixie Carter. We just got done with one with Immortal and fucking and this and that. And how many of these damn power struggles, how many of these damn storylines do you need? No matter how much you try to dress it up, it still smells like the same shit we've seen in the 11 plus damn years of this company. You've got power struggles in WWE, which you see all the damn time, and now you've got another power struggle in TNA. Do I really need to see how this works out to assume that this storyline is going to end up being the drizzling shits? No, the hell I don't. Why? Because of TNA's history. And then we look at the whole situation with CM Punk leaving the WWE. I'm not even going to talk about whether or not you think this is a work or a shoot. It doesn't even matter. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, it was a work. And let's just say they're going to bring him back in grand style come WrestleMania. Do you really think it's going to be done well? Do you really think anything's going to fucking ultimately be good about it? Now keep in mind, this is the same CM Punk that the WWE seems to be obsessed with over the years, making him look like a fucking idiot and doing everything they can to try and undercut one of their easily most talented performers overall that they have in their entire company. The guy's a draw. The guy's a star. He pushes a bunch of merch. He draws a decent television rating. He gets some of the biggest reactions consistently week in and week out. But apparently you decide that he's supposed to be stupid enough where he comes back after 8 days with the title when he had all the leverage for no damn reason. Or you have him turn heel and talk about wanting respect, and then he does the exact opposite of getting respect. He acts like a standard cookie-cutter chicken shit WWE heel. I mean, you know, he's sitting there, he's teaming up with the New Age Outlaws, even though he's starting to have some beef with Triple H and the Authority. Nothing ever crossed his mind that, hey, these are Triple H's fishing buddies. They might end up turning on you at some point. You're acting surprised by it? So even if it was a work, it's going to suck. And why do I say that? Because what in the past few years of WWE or TNA's recent history indicates to you that they have enough professional pride to actually give us good storytelling? What makes you think they care enough about us as fans to, again, possess enough professional pride to do the best they possibly can, to not hotshot crap, not to repeatedly do the same damn thing over and over again, but actually take the time to actually plan out a story from beginning, middle to end? There's no pride. There's no sense of wanting to do it. You sit there and see something at the beginning. When you go watch a movie, let's say, for example, I remember going to see World War Z. After about 30 minutes, I'm like, this movie sucks. Did I need to see the end of the movie and watch it the rest of the way through to know that it was going to suck? No, I did. And guess what? It still sucked. If I would only watch the first 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour, I would have left the movie theater having the same damn feeling I had after watching the entire movie. If a story sucks in the beginning and then sucks in the middle, what's going to make it great at the end? That would seem to defeat the whole logic train and the whole purpose. If a story sucks at the beginning and it sucks in the middle, more likely not, it's going to really suck at the end, and you're going to be really pissed off and disappointed that you spent all that time on something just to get to where you already knew at the very beginning you were going to be. It's one thing. I could forgive wrestling fans for saying this type of stuff. But when I hear people in the professional wrestling business try to package this as some type of positive spin and try to feed you this hot garbage and dare you to challenge them to do anything different, it really goads me. Anybody in the wrestling business that would ever say such stupid crap, you got to let the story play. I don't give a damn who it is. I ask you, based off of the recent history over the past few years of the WWE or TNA, why in the bluest of blue hells should we have to wait for the story to play out when we already know, based off of history and recent history especially, that we're going to end up being disappointed? Why would we need to wait to the end? The beginning and middle sucks. We sure as hell know the end's going to suck, period.